We will install Arch Linux with KDE Plasma to compare the Linux kernel and the Zen kernel, using performance tests to see gaps. Before starting, we must configure the wireless network. Run the iwctl command, then run device list to see the Wi-Fi adapter. Run station Wayland 0 scan to read available networks. Then, get networks will show recognized networks with their name and signal. Use connect with the network name. Then it asks for the password. Enter it and run exit. Outside, we can test ping connectivity. Run Archinstall. We can set the language and local info. Then go to mirrors and select a region, specifically the closest one. For example, we choose United States. In optional repositories, we select multilib. Then in disk config, we choose partitions. Let it select the best partition layout. Select the desired disk, choose the file system. In this case, we will use the ext4 type. It asks if we want a separate home partition. Select the desired option. In this case, no. It shows the result and we then exit. Leave swap enabled. We leave the bootloader as systemd boot by default and UKI disabled. Then we move to the kernel selection. Among available kernels we have Linux for general use, Linux hardened with extra security, Linux LTs, and finally the last, but no less important, linux-zen, optimized for better performance and user response. In this case we compare Linux versus linux-zen. We leave the hostname as default. In authentication, enter the root password and its confirmation. In account, add a new user. Enter the username, password, and confirmation. Let it be a super user. Then, we confirm and exit the user creation submenu. In Profile, select the predefined desktop environment type. A list of environments will appear. We then select the KDE Plasma. In the graphics card drivers, we change open source for NVIDIA proprietary ones, as we want to use an RTX 4050 from an MSI laptop. The default login manager is SDDM. We enter to see if the Plasma greeter is there and not yet, even though it has existed for a bit. If you want an application, it can be added. Then in the network config, you can leave the current one or select the manager. Packages can also be added. Then, in the time zone, select our country, leave the default time synchronization and go down now. Hit enter to install, and then yes to the configuration file. Then, the installation process begins with partition modification. Then it starts downloading necessary packages and performing the install. The time depends on your bandwidth, about 10 minutes. At the end, it will ask if we want to exit Archinstall or reboot. We select to restart the system automatically to finish this. But we see that the system does not boot. The screen stays black. Enter TTY with Ctrl-Alt F1 or F2. There is a detail when using NVIDIA with Wayland. It is necessary to add the modeset option to the config files of each kernel. We list the bootloader entries directory. In this case, we see two config files for having installed two different kernels. Edit the default kernel file and add nvidia-drm.modeset equals 1 in options. Do the same for the linux-zen kernel configuration file. Then we edit the Mkinitcpio.conf file, add the nvidia-modeset, nvidia-UVM, and nvidia-drm modules. Run the sudo mkinitcpio -p command. This to update the initRAMs of each kernel with the NVIDIA modules, but it gave an error. We put an extra letter M, edit the file again and remove the extra letter M. Save, exit, and try the command once again, please. The NVIDIA module inclusion process starts again. In this case, everything went well for both kernels. Then we reboot the device. With these changes, the system starts for the first time, entering the graphical interface. Using NVIDIA drivers, enter password. Then the KDE Plasma desktop environment loads for the first time. With that, we finish the Arch Linux installation video guide. In the next video, we will compare CPU, memory, disk, and graphics performance between the two kernels and compare with Windows. Archinstall is a script that greatly facilitates the installation of Arch. There is only the module config detail for Wayland. This is all for this video. If you liked it, subscribe, leave a like, and turn on notifications. See you in the next video.